mypdfbooks.com. That's books with a Z.
Once again, this broadcast has been brought to you by mypdfbooks.com. That's books with a Z, where reading fundamental. Also brought to you by bindedbooks.com, where treasures are bound. Be sure to get all of your teas at My Son's Teas, the tea of teas, divinely prepared at herbsofmyaunt.com. Be sure to check out all of those musical stylings by Brian Hicks Spade at bhspademusic.com. For your everyday items and religious regalia, be sure to check out moorishaberdasher.com. And for that everyday especial Moorish strip, be sure to check out moresachi.com. And all of these companies are powered by ALO Design Pros. Design your online business strategy today.
No such thing as failure, baby. Don't forget who made you. You can't be thinking minor when you need to be thinking major. They made you think they saved you, but can't nobody save you.
Peace. Greetings.
Peace.
Peace, Noble.
Peace, Noble.
Happy Holy Friday. Gratitude to Nobles who could join us tonight. As you know, this is our Burning Bush BBT Book Club we do every Friday. I'm one of the main hosts, Noble Moso L of the Burning Bush Tabernacle. And, we've been doing these for a few years and really want to welcome brothers to come private with us and join us through StreamYard. We do our classes on Saturdays, and we do this book club every Friday. And if you want access to a lot of these books that we offer and have been offering through our school, I definitely encourage brothers and sisters to subscribe. Email us. I have the email right here on the bottom. You can email me directly at herbsofmyaunt@herbsofmyaunt.com. Reach out to us. And, my expertise and my background is, herbal medicines, traditional healing. I'm the founder of Herbs of My Aunt. We offer herbal tea blends. I really encourage everyone to check that out. I got herbal blends, great for winter, great for, getting your immune boosted before the weather starts to get too cold. You want to get these herbs in you so your body is accustomed to, fighting off cold, fighting off COVID, fighting off, all the different airborne and foodborne illnesses. So, that's one of the main reasons I created Herbs of My Aunt and My Aunt Sons, because, some people, whether they're elderly or a child, they may have never experienced mullein leaf, soursop, burdock root, so many different herbal blends and herbal remedies that may even grow in your backyard. You may not even understand, like dandelion root. There's so many herbal remedies. That's one of the things you'll get when you come to our private sessions. You'll understand how to make your own blends, your own tinctures, your own remedies for your family, for your children, for your loved ones, because you don't want to wait till you get sick to be rushing to go buy these blends and buy these herbs. You want to have them in your cabinet. And that's one thing we do here at the BBT Book Club. We're medicine men. That's one thing we understand in this book that, we're going to break down later, a little preface and intro to. We have a plethora of books on healing. This knowledge isn't secret, it's sacred. And if people understand their indigenous roots to the Americas, to, ancient, how you can go back to Atlantis, as they called it at one time, but just the ancient world, the old world. Our ancestors used plants and mushrooms and, bones and broths. All these things were useful not that long ago, and now we're seeing them start to come back because indigenous medicines are starting to be more popular, and people of other cultures are starting to or I've always, you know, understood the benefits. And there's no reason why, you know, everyday man can't purchase them. You know, just like Sheik, you always say, brothers spend hundreds of dollars on Indian cigarettes and herbs. So there's no reason why you can't get a pound of, you know, mullein, a pound of, you know, different herbal blends to start mixing up and having in your kitchen, in your laboratory.
And Moso, we were just talking about it today. One of my partners, he was like, Sheik, you know what? You right. He was like, we'll go out each week, buy an outfit or something, and then act like we can't support the wisdom. And he was like, and you give attackers their receipt. He was like, we talk about we gods, but we give all our stuff away to entertainment. And he was like, that's messed up. I said, hey, at least you said it. You know?
Right. I mean, you gotta invest. You gotta invest in your health and your body. And, you know, you only got one. And me, you know, my personal testimony. You know, I, you know, had seen some family members, you know, transition, and I felt helpless at a time where I couldn't, you know, do nothing about it. And you know, I wanted to be able to provide people in my family the opportunity to try to use natural remedies. Yeah, you can always trust your doctor, but at the end of the day, you know your body better than anyone. You know the habits you have and the addictions and the, you know, the different pains you might be having. Only you know that. So once I understood that, I started to take my own health into my own hands and experimenting with the herbs, you know, visiting Dr. Sebi's village down in Honduras. Like, it really impacted my, you know, experience and wanting to create my own blends and start to understand plants, herbs, you know, mushrooms, all these different remedies we have in nature. You know, we walk
and that's
around.
what I love about your approach, Moso. Like, your approach is so welcoming, inviting. You know, we see a lot of these health gurus, and they always tell you this is the way, this is the way. Then they always have to contradict themselves. Like one health guru saying, we don't drink water. Then he's saying, now you drink water. It's like, it's so much stuff that don't even make sense to people. And I'm like you said, figure out your body, what works for you.
Right.
And stop worrying about if this is going to do this to you. No disrespect, I got to say it like this. And a person will eat, you know, the rear end and worried about eating healthy. And I said, man, you eating booty.
Right.
You talk about what a sea moss, where did it come from? Man, you eat booty. Shut up. See, I have to be like that sometime, Moso, because people don't be making no sense at all. Man, you eating some what's them things called? Pop-Tarts.
Right.
And you talk about, man, I don't like no sea moss, but you like Pop-Tarts? I don't get it. Or they say this, you're gonna die anyway. You know, and then people they come with that Bobby Hemming stuff and all that. Well, you can do this, you can do this. Okay, if you got the power when you get sick to heal yourself, no disrespect. Why? I ain't seeing nobody healing themselves. When brothers be getting sick, they be where? Running right to the doctor. No disrespect. I be telling the people, take everything with a grain of salt. When people telling you, oh, you can conjure this up, not without no work. Like Moso said, when you get sick, it's not the time to be taking herbs. Mm-hmm. We talk about prevention. This is a life. So you want to take it just like medicine. You don't take, I got to take this to get sick. Why? Because you got years of eating bad. It might be too late.
Right.
Islam, Moso.
Islam, see, no, you're right. It's a lifestyle, you know. It's been a lot of fads that have came into the world since, you know, before I was born, before around your era, you know, and even before, you know, with the vegetarianism, veganism. But historically, you know, our ancestors ate regionally, you know, what was in their region. You know, reading this book that, you know, right here, it talks about, you know, the buffalo, you know. Yep. I've been learning, you know, even Dr. Sebi, he said you can eat buffalo meat because water buffalo is a natural animal. It's the cow that was man-made.
See, Moso, now you get into history because man, it was called the I forget that genocide when they brought they brought all the cows to that region and it killed the buffalo.
I've seen some pictures of that. Yeah, and
I
it's like,
got the documents. I got all the stuff from the doctoral library. It was called the Moo Moo War. Don't quote me on that. The Mau Mau or the Moo Moo. It was one of them. I got all the documents in my files, and I lectured at that college where they did it on purpose. They said, "Oh, we're gonna destroy everything. We're gonna bring these cows over here, polluted everything, it killed the buffalo." But most so we did eat meat. You know why we ate meat? Because we raised them with us. That's why.
we created the first corral. The word corral comes from the Ethiopian word. And you know, our ancestors, like you said, domesticated animals. We traveled with camels. We used every part of the animal, the bones. The skin.
You teaching again, Moso. Okay, kosher diet. Let's play devil's advocate. If we Tarian and we say we gotta go, and we got animals that's in our area, and we finna go somewhere else, you think we gonna leave our animals behind, or is our animals gonna tarry with us? So if we gotta eat, or if we gotta sacrifice them animals to eat on our journey, right. I don't think people be using their hippocampus when they be talking.
That's what the caravan. The caravan was people traveling with the animals, their horses, their food, their beverages. You know.
So when you stop and make camp, how you gonna stop and make camp? You ain't got shit. Excuse my candor.
Right. The first camp. They were the first people to create camping.
I mean, come on. When you go camping, don't you take your food and your drinks with you?
Right. Take a live goat, and when you're hungry, you slaughter it, like you said, halal or kosherly. People don't. We've been so far removed from that type of lifestyle, Sheik. I think people we've been domesticated to the point where we don't understand. We think wildlife is something you just travel to on the weekends, on your free time. But, you know, when you're really in tune with nature and the planet and the earth, you know, you understand all the elements. You understand why there's science talking about, you know, people going to forests for healing, just looking at the trees, looking at leaves, smelling different air. It's a science that people of Japan and other parts of the world still understand and appreciate, but we've got so far away from with AI and, you know, comforts of technology that, you know, it's a lot of health sicknesses people getting from cell phones, as you know, and radiation sicknesses, and people didn't even have these issues back in the day.
But what I think the internet is doing with everything that's fake on there is it's gonna make the conscious one, the people that's in that the second coming is in you, they're gonna have to connect to the real source instead of the internet. Because the real ones like you and I and others that's with us, we connect to the real source. Like, right. So we do it. You know, we just don't say, okay, listen to this. We do it. Like, I'll never tell nobody what to do, and you don't either. But right. One thing, what I do is I do intermediate fast. For me, it's work, you know. So I don't want to talk too much, man. Get into your
even like what Noble Malik always talks about, like the time you stop eating, and you know, you gotta, no matter what you eat, if you eating too late, your body's, you know, not ready to be breaking that down. So you just making your body work right before you go to sleep. It's not really a smart thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, you know, I'm definitely encouraging, you know, all those brothers who follow your page, Sheik, and brothers who've been following the temple and following our book club. You know, all our friends and family, reach out to us, man, because, you know, you can't do it alone. You know, we have a lot of classes that we offer on health and wellness, on spirituality, on, you know, whatever your background in spirituality or history or education in college. I mean, you can apply this knowledge that we have and add these books to your library. And I'll just give y'all a little intro to this one book that I've been going through. It's cool. Hold on.
Moso, are you going to be? I know you provide the teas, but I don't know in the future. I might be prophesizing. will you be offering certain bags of herbs? You know what I mean? Your special blends for this and
Definitely,
for that. Well, I think you already
definitely,
got that, though, don't you?
definitely. I got herbs on herbsofmyot.com. You know, brothers, y'all can definitely check me out there. Herbsofmyot.com. You know, we got herbal blends for winter. You know, to get your immune right. You know, to get your blood circulation right. You know, it's a lot of opportunity to boost your immune system, like we were saying before winter hits. And I'm definitely working on a subscription, you know, so if people want to get herbs, you know, monthly, you know, that's something I'm looking for, you know, people to really commit, you know, whether it be a 1 month membership, you know, 3 months, and you can get your herbs monthly. Have it in your cabinet year round. And this one book right here is called Herbalism Through the Ages by Ralph Whiteside Kerr. It's just a good, you know, great book on herbs. Talks about nature's secret health ingredient. Go down. Some of the table. So the table of contents. Part 1 is legend, antiquity, and early history. Chapter 1 is from the dawn of civilization. Chapter 2, aromas for the gods. 3, the mysteries of Stonehenge. God's gift to man. Part 2 is folklore and transition. Everything is becoming. Herbs in the colonies. Indian culture regions. Indian herbal rituals. The earliest agriculturalist. Part 3 breaks down the American heritage. Herbs are the health builders. Nature knows best. Part 12, food, medicine, and pleasure. And part 4 is the epilogue for reference and information. So yeah, this is a great book on, you know, traditional folklore, literature, history, science, and the arts all play a vital part in the study of herbs. And this is by a great writer, you know, part of the metaphysical societies we've been studying through our Burning Bush Tabernacle, and Sheik, you introduced us to. You know, he breaks down simply, you know, talking about in the very beginning of the human race, we find the Bible reference. And God said, "Behold, I have given you every herb-bearing seed that is upon the face of the earth." That's Genesis 1:29. It says, herbs have been an integral part of all human life, animal and vegetable, since time began. So yeah, this is a must-have book. You know, as I said, we have a plethora of topics on wellness, herbs, plant life. Because, you know, we want you to be your own teacher, be your own medicine man for your family. This book, you know, breaks down. You know, it says the story of herbs is anything but a simple one. It involves an excursion into the realm of evolution. It considers the changing factors that influence the development of religious practices in various nations of the world. It is linked with problems in mythology and history. It may be said to be the forerunner of the modern sciences of medicine and chemistry, and particularly organic chemistry. An understanding of nature's alchemy derived from a study of herbs and herbal products lead us into a keener appreciation of aesthetic influences in anthropology. Mysticism is a striving Mysticism is a striving to learn and understand the nature and operation of the primal cause, the universal mind, the creative power of which all humanity is an integral part. The study of herbs and herbal products furnishes an entry into knowledge that is interrelated, demonstrating the universality of creation. As philosopher Hegel has stated, all knowledge is one. If we can know everything about any one thing, we will know all. The dictionary defines an herb as a seed plant devoid of woody tissue, which dies completely or to the ground after flowering. An herbaceous plant valued for medicinal properties or for its sweet smell or taste. So it's just, it's letting us know that
Wow.
there's so much connection with nature and man and spirituality. That's
Wow.
definitely that's like you said, that's an aspect a lot of teachers may not come from, but here in our brotherhood and sisterhood, we understand and love to study those two components together. You know,
Wow.
it says even before the dawn of history, artifacts and other evidence discovered by archaeologists and researchers prove that herbs and herbal products played an important part in the individual and communal life of the human beings who were developing the use of the God-given characteristics of creativity.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I know I gave them studies from I gotta find those too. I'm glad you said that, from Harvard. I gave y'all some studies from Harvard, and they were talking about the herbs and how they banned it from curriculum. You know?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's so much history with it. I mean, like you said, science, chemistry. I mean, the Moorish. There's a lot of book, in that the golden age of the Moors. It breaks down a lot of the science. Even with that, you talk about always with alcohol. Alcohol is used to extract a lot of these herbs, and there's even this little machine that they show that was from the ancient world, extracting essential oils and getting tinctures, like using honey and soaking herbs in the honey to extract and use. Even now, like Asian people use kimchi and different broths and stews. So I mean, there's so many ways to ingest plant remedies. It's not only one way. You can do your smoothies, you can do your stews.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually one day, that's something I want to add to the category, add to the have some broths, because people need. You can put mushrooms and herbs in your soup broths and be eating it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a better way to enjoy it.
I like the bone broth a little bit now. I take my veggies and I make a nice little stew. I drink a little bit in the morning too. A little bit warm. Before I do my workout.
The protein, yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of the bone broth is another one that's been around forever, but it's getting a lot more popular now. A lot of fitness people understand it. I mean, you can drink more herbs than you could ever eat in a day. So that's like y'all talk about with this.
And my mama used to make it. Now when I be thinking about it, and I used to
Really?
be like, yeah, she used to make it,
Wow.
and that's how she used to make the soups and stuff. Like all the bones she'll make, because we used to buy stuff kosher, you
Uh-huh.
know. My dad was part of the IDMR, so they were able to get meats like that. And back in Flint, it was Muslims that had a store,
Mm.
and they sold, kosher or halal,
Yeah. Yeah.
hmm
Yeah. I mean, that's how you utilize the whole animal. Those bones have nutrients in it.
Like you say, once again, you were saying earlier, we don't even live like that no more. And that's the
Right.
thing. We don't live like that no more. But the good thing, like I said, we got to start is with getting land, and we have land,
Yeah.
so we can check that off the mark, and we own land. So you know the next phase is to continue, to be able to be there and do some things, start really
Yeah.
manifesting to where we live on our property, because
Right.
it's in the middle. Like you said, it's right in the middle of Vegas and AZ. So,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Now,
it's
I
land.
was thinking about that. I was looking at one of your old videos, I think, and you was talking about I was listening to something. And you was talking about the sage that grows there, and
Yeah, man, like natural, right? Like it just grow.
right. So that's nothing but
Yeah,
learning how to
like yeah,
pick it, and
yeah.
harvest it, and that's a cash crop.
But look, hops is too.
Mm-hmm.
You know what hops is?
Yeah, that's the other one you was talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. I
I
met
know.
I met some local dude that got their beer. It's like I forget what it's called, Sonora white chocolate. But he was telling me how like they get their hops from a
Yeah.
local guy. He's like, guy got some acres and he grow hops. He's like, you gotta have it for beer. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
damn. I researched that. I said, man,
Is it like a
goodness.
bush?
It's like a man. I have to pull
Small
it up
tree?
for you, man.
Yeah, I got.
Huh?
I think I've seen a picture of it, but it looked like a big bush kind of. I thought, or like
Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah. Yep.
yeah. No, you're right. We definitely gotta get more in tune with the land, especially that we own. People.
Yeah.
We definitely got some projects to get started.
But like, the house be like that little cone like shape.
Yeah, it got a little. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Damn, it move. Wait, let me see. Like
But it gives that little it gives that natural buzz in
like a
the
little
drink.
bud.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been seeing guys make it's like some non-alcoholic ways you can even use it too. That's
hmm
definitely a good plant to start to use more.
hmm
I mean, yeah, so many medicines and plants
Yeah,
to.
it's the plant of. They say it's the plant of the cannabis because I'm like, it looked like cannabis. You know,
Are they
I'm saying
related?
it budded up like a yeah,
Yeah.
but it says the cousin of the cannabis plant.
Wow. I didn't. I definitely didn't know that.
Mm.
Probably. Yeah, it's probably real good for the soil and all types of things, man.
You can grow it in your home.
Really.
Yeah, it said to grow. I wonder. I wish shit. I make me some hops tea.
Mm-hmm. But we gotta. I want to. I'm into camping, so I mean, I really want to. All right, next time I come down there, definitely get into some camping and just learn more
Yeah,
about the landscape. There's so much land out there, and plant life and wildlife to experience.
and you didn't get to go to the Herb Museum, man. You gotta experience that, man. You really do.
No,
The Herb
definitely.
Museum is real nice.
Yeah, because a lot of these like this book talks about it. It breaks down, different regions, different tribes that used corn or maize, and it was really an integral part of their culture. I'm pretty sure that's what these museums will show us, like
hmm
the connection with nature. Before you had just think about life before there was a big old grocery store. You really
hmm
had to understand your region. You had to understand how to fish. You had to understand how to trap. You know, that's what the word trap, you know, is from, you know, French people who came to America and trapped fur animals, trapped raccoons and badgers, and learn how to use their skin and they pelt to make hats and stuff. Like a lot of the top hats, like Abraham Lincoln top hat. A lot of it was a cult. It was a fanatic thing back in the day. They would wear their top hat and put different furs of the different indigenous animals on them.
Mm.
So I mean, it's so much history with America. Was a rich land. You know, they try to teach us that, you know, other places might have been so wealthy, but no, you know, the North America, Central America, South America has abundance of produce, animals, food, clean water, you know, rivers.
Yeah. Hey,
So,
Noble Mosa, can I ask you a question before we leave?
Yeah.
How was your trip in Honduras when you went, man? Can I ask you about that? How was your experience?
Oh man, that was life changing, man. Honestly, man, it definitely was life changing. Sheik. You know, I went down there just trying to detox and, you know, take my health into my own hands. You know, and I mean, when I experienced like the thermal bath waters down there, you know, that water that comes from the volcanoes, and you know, it has this aroma of like sulfur, but they have ways to filter it, and then when you bathe in that and drink that, and just the herbs that they bring you, it's just a full detox, you know, a spiritual detox. It's not a lot of cell phones, and it's a private gated community down there. So it was an amazing, you know, it inspired me to create, you know, Mayat Sons, and, you know, bring herbs to my community and my greater friends or family who care about their health, because it was an eye-opening experience when I saw what this water was doing and what some of these plants were doing, these fresh herbs. You know, it would be nurses and, you know, women down there who would go out to the forest and get fresh herbs and fresh, you know, roots and stuff, and they would, you know, cook them up. You know, they prepare you fresh meals. So I mean, it was a life-changing experience. You know, I look at some of my friends who same age as me, and they, like you say, with your high school reunion, people looking like Larry Holmes, you know. I know it added some years to my life for sure, because a lot of brothers,
Absolutely,
you know, maybe it's stress, and these brothers, we all got stress, no matter what you eat or what you drink, you know, you still got stress of life, you know. So I mean, you still
right.
got, you know, you still got to meet, you know, people just got to be willing to grow in their journey, you know. We all grew up with hamburgers and hot dogs and cookout eating and soul food eating, but there's healthier ways to make those dishes. There's more healthier food places to eat at than 10 years ago, than especially 20 years ago. So I mean,
you know, Moso, I think also that goes to the love of life as well, because I think all this stuff is kind of scientifically spiritual. You know, because you have some of those radical people that be looking at people that eat meat and go, oh, or vice versa. The energy be off. You know what I mean? The energy be off. You know,
right.
So and it's not coming from a love perspective. You know what I mean? Right. It's coming from a raw perspective. So a lot of times it's not accepted. But from a love perspective, how you bring in when a person be looking, this like even with me, with my age, you know, and I tell people, I'll be like, well, you know, I say you're doing nothing wrong because I do this and that, but I also do this and 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 this. You see what I'm saying? Huh? Wow. Not telling you, you know, you shouldn't, but to say, even if you do, be conscious of it. Moderation. Try to get off of it as you age. You know what I mean? Try to get off those things and mixing with what? Smoothies, watermelon juices. Like I'm drinking my watermelon juice now. I made a big thing of watermelon juice, Moso, really. Watermelon juice, smoothie, and tea. I make it every week. Every time I run out, I buy it again. Ask anybody that know me. That's my life.
Yeah, no,
I ain't saying this, not the other, but I know a lot of people that's doing other things. Why? Because I be around them. You know, they be like, "This all you gonna eat and drink?" I say, "Yeah, I'm gonna eat this today." You know, and if I'm at my people's house, take me to the store. I get my watermelon, got my stuff. This is what I'm on. You know what I mean? Am I gonna eat? Yeah, I'm gonna eat. But I just, and I got inspired by you as well. Like I said, God works through man. And so that's why I be telling people when I be like, look, man, you need this around. We're not saying we're bad, but it's inspiration. What I mean, we're adding value to you, added value to me, and vice versa. This what people got to see. That's what I be telling people. Is like, come on, man. Like this is a whole change. How when what you eat and when you conscious of that and you working out, your mind can think clear. Like you just said, we all go through stuff,
Right.
But we don't get upset. Oh, I'm gonna go to McDonald's and give me 3 burgers. I'm mad.
That's like emotional eating, right?
I mean, it goes, the pendulum swing always, Noble.
Right. But what you were just breaking down, that's my art. That's the balance. You got to have balance in your decisions for your body. You got to have balance in what you do. You can't do one thing too much and think you're going to be evenly yoked in your health.
Yeah, and I think, and a lot of times people be saying they don't have the time to do these specific things, and I'm saying, and we're here to encourage you to say, yes, you do. You want people around you that's going to be like, yes, you can, bro. Not like, you know what, you right. You don't want nobody like that around you.
Right.
If I'm around Maso and Maso, you eat right, you drink right, you see me eat like that, you're going to be like, shit, what, like, you're going to be like, you good? And you got every right. You can be like, man, come on, you got every right. Why? Because that's how it's supposed to be. Right. And so things should rub off on brothers. That's right. And they look and they like, yep, yep, those attributes. I want some of those. Yep. I can do this. Man, I matter of fact, I should be doing this. Why? Because you do. Listen, I ask everybody. You telling me all you drinking is water? No, you don't drink pop. This is what I ask some people because I don't drink pop. I don't drink no juices, none of that shit. I drink my own stuff. But I ask everybody that, they go to the store and buy pops, juices, and all that. And I say, well, I make my own. Ain't that expensive? The same way you buy the pops and stuff, I think it's cheaper for me.
Right.
I'm just being honest because, like, you got to remember when you drinking pop, you got to think about this. A person can get a pop, they pouring 2 glasses at a time because that's all acid and soda. That's all with this fruit juice. With this stuff, it's quenchy. So you don't got to drink a whole bunch of cups of it. You know what I mean? You're going to get everything you need, especially if you have the smoothie and what you need.
Right.
So like I said,
you got to replenish. Yeah, you got to.
I just give honors for inspiration, man. And like you said, us showing each other. And like you said, we got all this information that we want to share. Like even that's another question I wanted to ask you, Noble. I don't know if you dug into it yet, but I got to ask you some questions like I'm interviewing you, shit, because I want to know. Yeah. I want to know. I want to take an episode. You just talk about the whole trip and the whole experience, man. I know you got a lot of pictures, and just share some things whenever whenever you get a chance. It'll be dope,
Definitely.
But I wanted to ask you about the herbology for home study. Have you dug into that?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I use it. It's like an encyclopedia. You kind of go into it. And it has so many different remedies on. That thing is deep, man.
I knew it. I just had to ask you that before we left because I know. And see, Noble Moso, this is why I know when people. That's why I said, man, you a gift, man. I just give honors. Like I said, man, keep doing what you're doing because you're gonna heal. You continue to heal a lot of people, and it's a testimony. Just even when I run out of your tea, you know what I mean? I know how to make my own. Just that inspiration. And like I said, I got to get my monthly order going on because we got to support you. You know what I mean? Because we drink tea, we got to make this important. It is important, not only to myself, all others out here. And if you just don't even purchase it, just go on the website, check it out. You know what I mean? And see if anything that you may like. You know what I mean? And you always welcome to come here and ask questions. Come work out with us. But yeah, man, like I said, our brother Moso, man, he got a lot of experience, and we just here to share the wisdom, Moso, and we just glad to have you, man. Like I said, we've been brothers for some years. We get ready to have our 5th annual Moorish Ball. But all I can do is say gratitude, man, for your wisdom and bringing your herb knowledge. Not only that, but yourself and the wisdom. And like I said, man, we continuing to learn, man, and it's an honor, as you continue to grow with your concoctions, man. And we just want to make sure, you know, how can I say it? You reap the benefits of everything that the Creator put in your
Yeah.
possession.
Right.
We always got to put that out there in the atmosphere, because yes, we're doing things for the good, but also, we have to understand when we talk about finances, there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with that, and that's all. And that's what I want to teach not only to our young people but to adults now, because business is business, and that's how we gonna change our paradigm. How? Economically,
Mm-hmm.
health wise. It does make a difference, and we shouldn't be afraid to talk about these things collectively, privately. So once again, Moso, I give you gratitude, man. I don't know if you got anything else to share.
No, that's it, Noble. I just encourage brothers and sisters to reach out to us. And that's my email right here. You can call me directly to 202-744-8440. Check me out. Check out my website, Herbs of Mayat. Mayat Sons. This is one of my logos. Mayat Sons on Instagram, Facebook. I definitely encourage everyone to, reach out to us. If you want any books, we also have Moorish haberdasher.com for regalia. I have some Mayat Sons gear on there, some tank tops, some few shirts. And I mean, we just expanding with our, with our brands, with our understanding of AI. We are one-stop shop, for the science, and like she says, for business. We have business classes. We all have our own businesses, and we encourage, people who want to grow with their lifestyle and be business owners as well. Because, like you said, she ain't nothing worse than, when you, like you said, you working, and you get to not spend time with family because you're working, and then someone transitions, and then all the knowledge you had, all the time you put in on the job don't really mean much, because a certain person might not be around you anymore. And then that's when some people wake up and start to understand that you can have wellness information just for yourself, but if you're not sharing it if you're not living it and being a testimony, I'm not saying you got to beat people up the head with information, but you may just be simple as bringing someone a healthier dish. Cooking
Yes.
for a loved one. Cooking is one of the highest form of showing someone you love them.
Yep. 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 And it's the approach, Moso, because we can talk about this in a great way. It's an encouraging thing when you come around people, because that they're gonna bring it up. And so it's always good to be light, man. And I encourage everyone, man, to get with us, man. Like I said, as we go on further, we really want to get people to join us privately on Zoom so we can share things, so we can really get people that's really interested instead of just people, that might not be interested. We're not here to be to YouTube famous. We really want to do something for those that really want to learn from the, no matter if it's a small group. We want to do things on private Zoom, but and the people that join us, you tell those that's like you, and then those people like you tell somebody like them, and vice versa, and vice versa. But we really want to start encouraging people to join us on a private platform so we can get rid of any trolls or anything that we don't need to get out there. Why? Because we can do these things on our own platform. We have the right, So I hope people want to join us, especially on Friday for my Noble. We'll just freestyle and just introducing the book, but we really want people to join us on Friday. Get with Brother Moso. His information is going down at the bottom. Please, get with Noble Moso, all the information, and we can go from there, man.
We nationwide. I'm in the DMV, DC, Maryland area. Sheik is in Arizona. We got brothers in California. We got brothers in Texas, Georgia, Florida.
Yeah.
And we all, we extend our hand to everyone who really wants this, wants this wisdom and wants to apply it to their daily life.
Yes,
So
sir.
again, I'm gratitude for everybody tapping in. I'm Noble Moso L. Check us out another day. Work out with us in the morning every weekend with our nobles. Peace, love, and light.
Peace.
Peace.
I'm a spirit speaking, truth seeking, heart reaching, knowledge leaking, seeds sowing, harvest reaping, man of neither means. I have yet.
mypdfbooks.com. That's books with a Z.
Once again, this broadcast has been brought to you by mypdfbooks.com. That's books with a Z, where reading fundamental. Also brought to you by bindedbooks.com, where treasures are bound. Be sure to get all of your teas at My Son's Teas, the tea of teas divinely prepared at herbsofmyaunt.com. Be sure to check out all of those musical stylings by Brian Hicks Spade at bhspademusic.com. For your everyday items and religious regalia, be sure to check out moorehaberdasher.com. And for that everyday especial Moorish drip, be sure to check out mooresachi.com. And all of these companies are powered by ALO Design Pros. Design your online business strategy today.
No such thing as failure, baby. Don't forget who made you. You can't be thinking minor when you need to be thinking major. They made you think they saved you, but can't nobody save you.